Hi, so I'll be showing you today how to connect your SoClean 2 with your AIRSENSE 10. So the first thing you can do is once you take it out of the box, you can connect the power and set up the time however you need to. So to set up the time, you just click on this. It says set current time, and you can set it up. So for example, if it's 9, you just set it up, it's 11 p.m. So right now it's 11 p.m. Now this hourglass is basically tells you when do you want to start the runtime. So the runtime is set at 7 minutes. Oops. So the runtime is set 7 minutes. I normally recommend doing a runtime of 10 minutes. And the runtime is basically the time it takes for the machine to create ozone for it to clean the mask. So it creates ozone and it runs the ozone from the inside of the mask and the tubing back to your machine. And that is what the cleaning process is. After that 10 minutes is going to take an additional 2 hours for the machine to convert the ozone layer back to normal room temperature. So that is a very important process. So basically the entire clean time for this SoClean is not really 10 minutes, but it's 2 hours, 10 minutes. So keep that in mind. This manual button is basically if you want to start it with the clock in a manual process. So once you have your time and everything set, now let's see what came with the machine itself once you buy it. So this is the connector that came with it, and a few things that came with it is this lid cover, which could be different based on the type of machine you have, but in my case I have AIRSENSE 10, and this is what it came with. So this has a little tube, and this is what we need. There's also some different models, like that they have tubes attached to the outside, but this is the latest one. It came with the SoClean wash. This is nothing but just a detergent, so you can wash your mask or your other stuff. So it basically is just a liquid soap with no fragrance in it. This is the mask that I already have. This is a non-heated mask. So the first thing we're going to do is change the lid cover. So for you to change the lid cover, let's take this out. And once you remove this, so this, guys, this is nothing but a replacement of this top cover. So we're going to remove this top cover, which is the top half of this reservoir, which is a water reservoir, and replacing this with this, because if you notice, this one does not have a tube and this one has a tube. So for you to do it, just open this, and if you have any water in there, make sure you throw it away, but there are 2 tabs, and you can just technically just lift it on one side and it comes off pretty easy. And now once you remove this, if you can see, there is a gasket, and this is the gasket that keeps all your water in. So you just nicely lift it, and before you do that, put the other one in the same orientation as this one, so you can just transfer it exactly like that. And once you have this transferred, then all you have to do is connect this guy with this. So as you can see, I connected this with one hand, so it's can't be too bad, right? And let's make sure the gasket is in properly. So you close this and make sure everything is nice and sealed. So this is how you do it. So once you have the lid on there, we're going to plug this whole thing back in and push it in. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this end, this right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to remove this right from here, from the edge. And I apologize, I'm trying to do everything with one hand. So once you remove this, don't throw this, keep it on the side. You may need it later on or whatever, but for this setup you're not going to need it. So these 2 things, just keep it aside. Now you can take this hose that we removed from the tip of this guy from right here, and we're going to connect this end into the machine and just insert it. It goes in fairly nicely. Now let's just make sure it's nice all the way down. You know, just keep pushing until it reaches all the way down. Now this piece right there, it does have a check valve in there, so if you ever see humidity in there, that means you need to replace this piece right there. So just always keep an eye on this, make sure there is no humidity in there. This kind of tells you that this should be going to your CPAP, which it is, you know. So always keep an eye on this. Now you can put this whole thing on a side, and guys, that is it. Now just one more thing I do want to point out that the machine comes with. To open it, all you have to do is just push this and it pops up. The machine came with this, and sometimes it's just kind of taped on the front or the side. You know, you just remove it, and the way you put this in is the flat surface goes on top. So in my case, my cleaning machine is going to be on this side, so my hose is kind of will be going in from this end right there. So I'm going to move this guy on this side. And it's nothing, it just simply goes in like that. You know, it's going to be a little bit loose, which is okay, completely fine, because the only function this one does is there is a button just like similar to this, and this button needs to be pushed in before the machine to get activated. So if I try to close this and activate the machine, it's not going to do that because it does have one button pressed in, but the other one is not. So they both have to be pressed in. The only way this could be pressed in is once you have that hose inside. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my mask, and I'm going to put my mask in there. No, you don't. I'm going to put it in there. You might have a different type of mask, which is okay, but once you have it like that, all you're going to do is close it in like this. So now my mask is in. This guy remains like that, so you don't have to make any modification to this. So now this whole thing is ready, and make sure there's no water when you're running this thing. Here's my filter. So to change the filter, it's very simple. You just pull this out and change this filter, I think every 6 months, I believe. So here on top we have the time. The bottom left that you see, number 10, is basically the time it takes for the ozone to clean it, and on the right side, 1 o'clock, is my set time. At every 1 p.m. I want this machine to start the cleaning process. So the manual button that you see is basically, once I press the manual, the machine is going to start. So let's do the test. So here I press the manual, and you can see the red light came on. That means the machine is creating the ozone and is going to continue on for 10. So let it go. It tells you at the very bottom that it's in process and not to open the lid. That's something that you want to make sure you don't open the lid when it's creating the ozone, because the ozone is dangerous for your lungs. So you definitely don't want to inhale it. You have to make sure the machine is stayed closed and let it run. So the way it works is basically the ozone comes from this pipe. It goes in all the way through the pipe into your CPAP machine from the back side, and then goes into this, cleans this, and goes to the check valve, and that's basically the check valve stops it. Okay, so now you can see the light is orange, so it has passed the time for creating the ozone layer, and right now it still tells you not to open the lid because the ozone is still in there, but what the machine is doing with the orange light is it's creating this ozone back to the room temperature air, which is clear oxygen. So leave that like that for additional 2 hours, and the machine will automatically turn green, and once it turns green, that means it's ready for you to open the lid and start using your equipment. That is pretty much it. You know, once you have it set up, it's simple to run, and that will keep your equipment clean. So guys, if you like the video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. Thank you very much.